Between celebrities having a meltdown after a box office flop, semi-open marriages, and Bollywood content that is truly terrifying, this is our extra scary Halloween Diwali episode of the hotchaipod, where real life is scarier than real life. So let's jump in. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the hotchaipod, a podcast where we spill all of that sizzling Bollywood tea. I'm your host, Jazz, and where to even start? This is our Diwali Halloween episode, and hence I'm in a suit. Per my mother's request, shout out Naz. She's like, oh, put on a salwar kameez and do your show, and I didn't actually want to wear it, so I was trying to take it off, and the zipper got stuck. So here we are. So to all the new teacups, happy to have you on board the chaos train. The Aishwarya, Abhishek, Nimrat rumor stuff is still blowing up everywhere. There's like a lot of memes and videos, but I don't feel like there's too much more to add to the speculation besides, a couple videos where maybe Abhishek and Nimrat did seem a little too chummy. I will address some of the top comments and messages that I got during our Teacup Time at the end of the episode. So stick around if that's what you're interested in. All right, jumping into our first hot chai topic, and it has a lot of layers. So as we all know, Jigra, the movie, flopped at the box office pretty badly, and that's fine. We discussed that and what may have happened, what was the reason a couple episodes ago. So go back and check that out if you have not yet. What happened this past week, though? So I was having a sixth sense. Okay, I felt like a meltdown was coming. And whose meltdown but Alia Bhatt's meltdown. Now, of course, not every star loses it after a failed box office movie, because that would be crazy. But with her specifically, it's kind of felt a little pressure cooker, a few too many whistles, and it was going to explode. Like, I don't even think Jigra is her lowest box office opener for her. There's Sadak 2, there was Kalank, Anjar, and then, a host of maybe average performing movies. And that means movies where the budget versus the box office collection are not well aligned. And so that is how that's calculated, not just, it has to be 100 crores to be a hit. That's now like an arbitrary number. I do think in the last few years, Alia and her PR and Karan Johar have wanted her to stick to this number one actress tag, right? But as of recently, that was not good enough anymore. So it became she's a superstar or she's Lady Bachchan, which we did talk about. And it's a bold strategy to say the least. Okay? Even Ranbir Kapoor is still called an upcoming superstar. So just think about that for a second. He's been around for a lot longer. He's had this animal hit, and yet a lot of people still don't call him a superstar. But why does the distinction matter between actress and superstar? Well, there are plenty of talented actors in the industry. So many, and yet most of them do not become stars in like the A-list way that we may think about it. So think about the movie darlings, right? Alia Bhatt, Shefali Shah, and Vijay Varma. Shefali Shah and Vijay Varma are both magnificent actors. They are like trained, true artist actors. But it doesn't mean they're big stars. For instance, some of our A-list actors, like take Salman Khan, right? He hasn't always done movies that have catered to his acting prowess. And that's not to say he does not have it. It's more to say he has relied on his star power to carry certain movies. It's my opinion! However, what Alia was trying to accomplish was that she was not only the most talented actress, right, the biggest acting chops, but also that she had really huge star power. I think especially after Gangubai. And so that she's like, okay, I'm a true superstar. But I do think she forgets that her stardom is not entirely organic, and it's not this like ground level massy excitement. And I hate to say it again, but it is like a tiny bit manufactured. Which brings me to the meltdown. Sometimes when people are at the top of their game, they do start to believe their own hype. And it's a bit like Delulu is a Salulu, manifesting, all that jazz. And that goes for any actor at the top of their game. It goes for CEOs, athletes, right? Like you start to drink the Kool-Aid. You're like, yeah, that's me. I'm the best. I'm the king. King Khan, that's a good example. But then you put a lot of pressure on yourself to live up to the hype. And you also can create a lot of enemies that way. Also, side note, if your stardom is so tenuous that you have to turn off your Instagram comments because your movie flopped, I don't know if you're that beloved of a superstar. And obviously, if we know that, then she knows that. So then comes the diversion tactics, the PR strategy, aka trying to divert the conversation away from, this Nepo talk, the script stuff, the Jigra failure. And so instead, she starts posting other stuff. She posts a photo working on the movie Alpha, her new Spyverse movie. Okay, harmless enough. But then comes the Diwali party, where she rewears her wedding outfit, specifically her outfit that she wore to her Mehndi function. And yes, here at the hotchaipod, we champion sustainability. But I am going to call bullshit on this, straight up, because the other time that she pulled a stunt like this was when she won the national award for Gangubai. So very big moment, important moment, and yet she wore her wedding sari because she said it was like meaningful to wear it twice. Hot take, I think she did it to take the attention off of Kriti Sanon winning it at the same time. And if you see their outfits, Kriti Sanon's in like a very subdued outfit and Alia's in a wedding sari, which isn't really like a bridal sari, but still kind of inappropriate for the occasion. And before you come for me, no, I'm not being a hater. No, I am being a little cynical, but I gotta call it like I see it. She has a million outfits, a million beautiful lehengas and saris that she has worn once. And I think she could have reworn one of those for Diwali. So no, specifically to rewear these wedding outfits, a tactic to get the press narrative back to like happy/neutral topic, which is her wedding to Ranbir and their kind of power couple, brand that they have together.
We used to go out at night, he's like, wipe that off because he loves the natural.
That's mostly what I was seeing online, but apparently Alia had a different For You page, algorithm, I don't know. Because here comes diversion tactic number 2. Alia posts this kind of unhinged rant on her Instagram story. It's like a long rant where she's mad that people are picking apart the way that she spoke in interviews. And not in a mean way, but genuinely, she had this shift because she talked one way, and then suddenly she was talking a little differently, maybe a little bit more sideways. Maybe I'll insert a clip here.
From friend. I think June.
Obviously, if you're a public figure, people are going to pick up on that. And the thing is, nobody was really talking about it right now. This was like a big topic maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, when she went on Coffee with Karan with Kareena Kapoor. But I did not see anybody mention this while she did her press and her interviews for Jigra. And so she posts this rant and she's like, oh, women are tearing down women. And how dare a doctor misinform people? And that she has no judgment for people who have had cosmetic work done. AKA, she is implying she has not had cosmetic work done. Just to be crystal clear, this was obviously trying to change the topic, trying to kind of get some sympathy points, maybe look a little bit like a victim after this kind of heavy wave of trolling for the past several weeks, which I can only imagine is really hard. But what irritated me is how disingenuous this rant was. So that's why I'm talking about it, because a year ago or so, a doctor had posted this plastic surgery like analysis video. He said that he suspected, the reason that Alia was kind of talking in this new way, kind of talking like off to the side, was that she had had some Botox and then that Botox migrated from the injection spot, which can happen. That can cause the different muscles than the ones that were injected to, not move, which is the point of Botox. I have actually seen this. So I had a friend do her usual forehead Botox, right? You don't want the lines. However, it did migrate and it started to push everything down. So then it looked like her brows were very furrowed. So Alia said that the doctor was bad for making this analysis and he was like bad for the impressionable youth or something. And I am failing to understand how educating the public about the ways that cosmetic work can go wrong is bad. But yet pretending you haven't had any cosmetic work and kind of creating unrealistic beauty standards is not bad. Not that I'm against cosmetic work at all. So I think the reason I was so irritated is because, and this is the same for all celebrities who do these brand endorsements for like the fairness creams and the junk food and the tobacco and the soda. And meanwhile, we know that they do not consume any of that, especially the ones on a really strict diet or more religious or whatever. The difference is, though, is that you cannot then become all preachy about it. So the Alia, before and after cosmetic deep dive is for another episode. But the doctor did respond, and he said he stands by what he said about her work and, the Botox migration. So I don't know. Are these diversion tactics working? It's hard to say because a lot of, especially her fans, were like, it's true, we shouldn't tear down women's looks, which of course I kind of agree with. And yet a lot of people are also seeing through it because of the timing of it. And it just seems a little random and unnecessary. And it does seem like a way to gain sympathy. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think this was a savvy PR tactic or was it a little too obvious? In other scary news, so Vidya Balan has been making the rounds for, doing press for Bollywood 3. And so she did this interview. And the interviewer asked her kind of a weird question, honestly, which is how do you deal with male attention after marriage? And she said that, well, she still enjoys it. But then she went further and she's like, it's okay to have harmless flirting once you're married, and that her husband also gets a lot of attention from other women and she enjoys getting the male attention. And she's like, my husband knows that I'm not going anywhere and I know that he's not going anywhere, but sometimes I still get upset. So I'm like, wait a second. So which one is it? Okay, because now I'm confused. And being confused makes sense because I do think people are kind of divided on this topic. There's this argument that, oh, we will always find other people attractive and it's natural. And the key word is that it is harmless flirting. And I'm like, that sounds all fine and well until you picture your man going and flirting with other women.
So for 3 years. Excuse me? Did you just say let's talk about the husband?
I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I have unrealistic expectations. But I've had like married coworkers and I've seen them flirting in the office, flirting with other women at our like happy hours and stuff. And it's just like, why are you so grody? And like, why are you not into your wife? That's like the first thought is like, you're like not behaving. Right. And I think that's what would piss me off. Okay. Because somebody would be like, oh, Jasmine's husband is like not that into her and he tries to get at these other women and that's why he's acting like this. I don't know. That to me is more annoying than the act itself. And then the flip side is that, well, it's Hollywood, it's Bollywood, it's the film industry. This just kind of comes with the territory and people, get these hall passes. Like if you're dating an actor, there's certain expectations. I don't know how true all of that is. It's definitely a little bit true. We cannot deny that. So you guys comment below. You guys comment, is harmless flirting with other people while you're in a relationship okay? Is it a given? Or should it be like, no, you can be friendly, but don't be flirty? Let's see where everyone lands and let's see if I'm just the one with some issues here. On the topic of Vidya Balan and Bulbulaya, and in the spirit of Halloween, I did want to talk a little bit about, the horror genre, the horror comedy genre in Bollywood. And like thinking about it, right? The actual true horror genre, barring a few films like Roz, which had Bipasha Basu and Dino Moria, Tumbad, if that's how you pronounce it, Tumbad, which came out in 2018, and then Bulbul, which was Tripti Dimri's second movie. I couldn't think of a lot of well-received horror films. Maybe there are some older ones that I'm, not privy to. There was also Call, if anyone remembers that, John Abraham, Vivek Oberoi, Lara Dutta. And actually, I don't know if that was horror, if that was supposed to be like a thriller, but it was spooky enough, okay? But that didn't do too great at the box office either, minus the songs, of course. But what has obviously done well is the horror comedy genre. And I think maybe it's because it's like fun and it's like not actually scary, and maybe straight horror is like better suited just for streaming. I don't know if people are going to the theater for it. I guess this weekend, though, will be very telling between Bulbulaya 3, beloved, horror comedy film, and then Singham again. This weekend is going to be very interesting at the box office. And so I watched Dopati on Netflix last weekend, and this will be a no spoiler review beyond what you probably saw like in the trailer or online, which is that Kriti Sanon is playing this double role. She's playing a pair of twin sisters. And also, fun fact, she did help produce this movie, so kudos on that, producer credit. So from the jump, to me, the movie, it had a Simple Favor vibes. If anyone saw A Simple Favor, it was Blake Lively, Anna Kendrick. They were in the movie, but this is a case where the book is genuinely much better than the movie. And I'm not just one of those people saying that, but the book is like more intense, a little bit more, unexpected. That's what I would say. And so I digress. Anyways, I highly recommend it, but I digress. So for Dopathy, I was getting very similar vibes because it's like vampy. There's this hot guy. There's this other like nice girl. Maybe there's a lot of jealousy. So that's the vibe of the movie. And Kajol plays a police officer. So it's Kriti Sanon. She's playing two twin sisters. One is more like sexy femme fatale, and the other is more homely, sweet. And they're both into this guy played by Shaheer Sheikh. I believe this is his first movie role, and he's usually a TV actor. And he is very good looking. I guess that's why they're both fighting over him. Why can't we get these tall, hot actors in more movies? But no, they give us Sonam Kapoor's brother. But anyways, that's a scary story for another day. So the movie itself, it was quite dark. It was more violent than I had expected. So that's a heads up for you guys going in there. And Kajol was not the most amazing that she's ever been in this role. But Kriti, she absolutely nailed it. I wrote down this note while I was watching, which is that she really makes you feel like it's two different people. By like, she's playing up the light in one and the dark in the other. And honestly, I would say the same for Shaheer Sheikh. I know some people do not agree with that, but he was very good at kind of switching on a dime. And I can't say much more than that. Unfortunately, the movie itself could have been a little bit more cohesive. Was it predictable? I don't know. I will leave that to you to decide when you watch it or if you've already seen it. I think there was a more predictable angle that they could have taken. And so I kind of half expected that, and then they did not take it. So do I recommend watching it? Yes, you may as well watch it on streaming. It's a very good one-time watch, and I think it is a good example of real life being scarier than anything that could happen with the supernatural. So that's all I can say without spoiling the movie. For Teacup Time, I am going to read a few of my favorite comments coming out of last week's episode. And thank you all so much for watching and helping make the conversation and commenting, because it is a lot more fun that way. We all kind of get in the mix. And don't forget to do the same on Instagram, because that is always a very lively debate between the fashion polls and other things coming out. So on one of the YouTube shorts that I posted, there's a clip of Abhishek Bachchan saying that, Aishwarya Rai, she's such a great mother, and that only Aishwarya helps with Aradhya's like homework and like takes care of everything. And he says, quote, "so that I can do what I do." And the comments were brutal. And so someone said, "well, what does he do?" And then someone responded saying he gives flop movies and he has affairs. Like that really, it made me laugh. But it's rumored, you guys, not funny. And then someone else wrote multiple times, like on different videos, that rich men get cheated on too. Okay, that was not the point of the episode. But thank you for watching. And finally, someone wrote that I need to chill out because it's perfectly normal for married people to take their spouses for granted and to go on holidays without each other. And that's why Ash and Abhishek are separate and she's just with her daughter. And to that I say, if that's happening, if you guys are vacationing separately and taking each other for granted, maybe it's time to re-examine the marriage. Okay? And with that, teacups, the scariest part of our episode is over. Let's aim higher. Thanks for watching, and until next week, bye.